Can you tell the difference between these two tracks? In our music production journey, we're quick to grasp the power of limiters, but there's a secret weapon often left out of the conversation: clippers. These devices, when working in parallel with limiters, hold the key to achieving loud, punchy masters without sacrificing dynamics or falling victim to the dreaded, squashed sound of over-limiting. A limiter is essentially a compressor with a infinite to 1 ratio. When a limiter has this ratio, it's called a brick wall limiter. This extreme form of dynamic range compression ensures that any signal exceeding the threshold level is prevented from getting any louder. The threshold control is where you set the decibel level at which the limiter starts to kick in and begin attenuating the signal. When the input signal exceeds this threshold level, the limiter begins to reduce the gain to prevent the signal from going higher. The ceiling control sets the maximum possible output level of the limiter, often set at 0 decibels. In certain limiters, such as Pro L2, the controls may be labeled differently. Instead of a threshold, there's a gain, and instead of a ceiling, there's an output. Despite the different labels, these controls serve similar functions. The gain control adjusts the input level, pushing the signal towards the limiting range defined by the output, which acts as the ceiling level. When audio enters a clipper and surpasses the threshold, unlike a limiter, a clipper won't reduce the signal's level to keep it under the ceiling. Instead, it chops off any signal over that ceiling, which is again normally 0 decibels. By discarding the audio information above this level, clippers naturally introduce small amounts of distortion into the sound. With a clipper, you generally have two options with a sliding scale between them: soft clipping and hard clipping. These terms describe how aggressively the clipper treats the signal that exceeds the threshold level. Soft clipping gently rounds off the peaks, adding mild distortion and preserving more of the original audio's character. Hard clipping, on the other hand, cuts off the peaks sharply, resulting in more pronounced distortion. On paper, limiting sounds much safer, since it's essentially acting like an automatic gain reduction control. While this is true, a common mistake people make is smashing their tracks into a limiter to achieve the desired loudness level. This often requires heavy limiting, which can make tracks sound squashed and overcompressed. If you find yourself needing a lot of limiting, it's a sign that your mix needs attention, as loudness is achieved in the mix, not in the mastering process. It's essential to consider clipping your signal across all group buses rather than solely relying on a single clipper on the master chain. This approach offers individual control over each group of instruments, allowing you to clip the transients off each track throughout your mixing chain to achieve the loudest master possible. This strategy works well in EDM, think Skrillex, but it may not be the correct approach for other genres. It's important to point out that proper management of your transients in the mix should be taken care of before using a clipper or any mastering tool. The clipper is for finishing touches, not a silver bullet. The main reason for using a clipper is how well it pairs with a limiter. It's like taking Pro L2, injecting it with steroids and growth hormone, and having Prime, Arnold Schwarzenegger, as its training partner. Speaking of Arnold, I created a video with him teaching you everything you need to know about compression.
Hello, it is me, the Governator. Matthew Veer asked me to give you suckers the last guide on compression you'll ever need.
Now, let's cover the benefits of using a limiter and clipper together, which is where the real magic happens. There are three main benefits from this approach, and the third is particularly valuable. The first benefit is that by clipping the peaks, the limiter can work on the entire track, rather than just responding to the transients that stick out above the rest of the instrumentation. This approach also provides a smoother level for the limiter to work with, allowing it to perform more consistently and transparently. This way, the dynamics of your mix are preserved, rather than being drastically altered by an overworked limiter. This has the additional benefit of providing a smoother and often quieter level for all of your mastering plugins, which is especially important for analog emulations, which are calibrated to operate optimally within a certain signal level range around -20 to -12 decibels. The second benefit is stabilizing the release response from the limiter. Transients can throw throw off the release response of a limiter, causing the dynamic adjustments to not match the groove of the track. The release setting on a limiter determines how quickly the limiter stops its gain reduction after the audio signal falls below the threshold. This is a critical control to get right because it affects the groove of your track by influencing how the dynamics of groove elements, typically drums, are perceived. If the release time is too short, the limiter may recover too quickly after reducing the gain, causing a pumping effect that can make the track feel rushed. The fast recovery can create abrupt changes in volume that might disrupt the natural timing and feel of the groove. On the flip side, if the release time is too long, the limiter might hold on to the gain reduction for too long after the transient has passed. This can cause subsequent notes or beats to be attenuated, making the track feel sluggish or lagging behind the beat. Here's an A/B. To fine-tune the release time, listen to the rhythmic elements of your track and observe how the dynamics are affected. Shorten the release time if the track feels sluggish, or lengthen it if it feels rushed. You'll know you've got it right when the track falls into the pocket and feels just right. The third benefit is the increase in volume you can achieve. Combining both of the previous benefits, you allow your limiter to work both effectively and efficiently, ensuring the loudest masters possible. The clipper shaves off the peaks, while the limiter can focus on raising and maintaining a consistent average loudness rather than just handling the peaks. You can take this to the next level by integrating a clipper throughout your project's buses, as well as early in your mastering chain. This combination leverages both tools to achieve loud, punchy masters. Thank you for watching.